Brett Maher to kick off, and this Sunday night game for Philadelphia is underway with the touchback. Eagles will take over at the 25. Here are their starters.
Carson Wentz, North Dakota State University.
Wendell Smallwood, West Virginia.
Alshon Jeffrey, South Carolina.
Nelson Aguilar, Fight On.
Golden Tate, Notre Dame.
Zach Ertz, Stanford.
Jason Peters, Arkansas.
Isaac Selma-Low, Oregon State University.
Jason Kelsey, University of Cincinnati.
Brandon Brooks, Miami University.
Halapulavati Vaitai, TCU.
So that offense spearheaded by Wentz, and they're minus Lane Johnson, their right tackle. That is significant. Vaitai takes his spot at that spot. And the first play from scrimmage from the 25-yard line. Wentz keeps it, dumps it off to Ertz. His 62nd grab of the season. DeMarcus Lawrence put the pressure on. Gain of 1 second down.
Well, and what they're going to try and do with DeMarcus Lawrence now, because they have the substitution over here, is play a few games with him. So that's exactly what they did. They knew he'd be amped up to go against Vaitai, and so they just did a little flip over the top of his head just to get his attention.
Running back is Josh Adams. It's a revamped running game because of injuries and the departure in the offseason of LeGarrette Blount. Doesn't look at all like it did in the Super Bowl. Ertz in motion. Toss to Adams, the undrafted rookie out of Notre Dame. And he goes next to nowhere. It'll be third down. So as most of you know, Wentz was hurt at the end of last year. Rehab, missed the first 2 games, but 71% completion percentage. Ratio is great. TDs 13, interceptions 2, and the rating is excellent.
You know, a lot of people thought he would have been the MVP a season ago, but his numbers this year are better than what they were a season ago.
Meanwhile, Golden Tate comes into the game, so he will make his Eagles debut on a 3rd down and 9. They go trips to the right side. And that is Tate going in motion, setting up on a wing to the left, a little low snap here, and to Tate they go, and Tate cannot pick up the first down. Gets out to the 32-yard line, gain of 7. Lawrence makes the tackle, 4th and 2.
The one thing the Cowboys were worried about is that there would be some trick plays with Tate in the lineup. They sent him in motion. And one of the things that he has just been amazing during the course of his career, so elusive. So they just try and get the ball out to him. And he almost broke enough tackles to get that first down.
So many of his catches behind the line of scrimmage. Meanwhile, you've got Cameron Johnston, done a great job this year, leading the league in net punting. Cole Beasley is back to receive at the Cowboy 20. It's a low line drive, ugly kick. And it gets by Beasley, and Beasley fortunate that he didn't touch it, and there's a flag down on the play. Flag down at the 36-yard line of Dallas. John Parry is tonight's referee. If it's on Jones here.
Holding, receiving team. Number 31, 10-yard penalty, first down.
They'll assess it. And let's take a look at the Cowboy starters.
Dak Prescott, Mississippi State.
Ezekiel Elliott, the Ohio State.
Amari Cooper, Alabama.
Cole Beasley, SMU.
Alan Hearns, the U.
Jeff Swain, Butte Community College.
Tyron Smith,
USC.
Xavier Suafilo, UCLA.
Joe Looney, Wake Forest.
Zach Martin, Notre Dame.
Lael Collins, LSU.
Revamped offensive line. Talk about their struggles as we go along here. They start from deep in their own territory at the 9-yard line. Prescott in the pocket. For the moment avoided the sack, but not as Brandon Graham is able to get in there. The initial pressure, and then Graham cleans it up at the end.
New left guard Xavier Suafilo for the Cowboys, and he is going to see a lot of Fletcher Cox tonight, right there over his head. And this first battle wasn't much of a battle, did get him past, but forced Dak to step up, and then the sack was to be had by Graham.
2nd down and 10. Amari Cooper and Noah Brown is in the game. They just activated Brown, 85. They give it to Elliott, and he gets bottled up at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd down and 9. Prescott had a tremendous rookie season. 4th round pick out of Mississippi State. Last year, not so good. This year, not really very good either. Rating is 89. 10 TDs, 5 interceptions, and he's been sacked a lot. Said before the season, he said, you know, last year I just tried to do too much. Might be the case again this year as we go into the second half of the season. 3rd down and 9. Prescott hanging in the pocket. Fires to the sideline and reaching up for it, but out of bounds is Michael Gallup. Rookie 3rd round pick out of Colorado State. Graham is there. Came down with it, but he's out of bounds. And so each team starts with a 3 and out.
Great play by Corey Graham on the sideline to get a receiver in the air. All you have to do is knock him out of bounds. There is no force out anymore. Brilliantly done. Beautiful catch by Gallup, but too close.
Graham has missed the last 3 games with a hamstring injury. Golden Tate is now back at midfield to take the kick. Chris Jones sends it skyward. Tate from the 44 down the sideline. Decent run back. Takes the ball into Dallas territory. Thrust out of bounds at the 45-yard line. Wentz and company with the ball when we come back. Golden Tate coming over in that trade. Spent his first 4 seasons in Seattle. Last 4.5 with Detroit. Had a tremendous day earlier this season when Detroit went to Dallas. And in that game, he had 8 receptions for 132 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he got the phone call about thinking he was going to get his contract extension finally done and found out he was traded to the Eagles. And I had to hang up the phone and process a little bit.
Aguilar, wide receivers in the backfield, and they send him out to the left. Empty set here on 1st down from the 44-yard line. Wentz fires over the middle, and that's picked off at the 37-yard line by Van Der Esch. The Dallas rookie with the interception and a good run back, still going all the way down to the 38-yard line. Their #1 pick out of Boise State, Leighton Van Der Esch, right over the middle with the interception.
Almost hard to believe Carson Wentz was looking hard to his left and simply never saw Van Der Esch. Watch Wentz look to his left, which he often does, and then just fires it back over the middle without ever even taking a glance. It wasn't mysterious. You got a 6'4" linebacker in the middle of the field, and he just never saw it. You know, Wentz this year has had 7 interceptions dropped, and there's a guy who replaced Sean Lee who's having some fun.
A lot of people thought during the draft that Dallas might go for a wideout, might go for a tight end, but with Lee's injury history, and he's hurt again, they went with Van Der Esch. So far, so good. And they give the ball to Ezekiel Elliott for a gain of 2. And 2nd down and 8.
Van Der Esch has really begun to play some great football. I think very much in contention for Defensive Rookie of the Year this year. He is excited on that sideline. Wentz is going to look over there. I think he knew where he wanted to go all along, but just pivoted, and for whatever reason was probably looking at Zach Ertz and just missed the linebacker standing right in front of him.
Jameis Olawale is the fullback. He fronts Elliott. Play action. Fired to the outside. Caught 23-yard line. That's Amari Cooper for a 1st down. Let's take a look at the Eagles defense.
Brandon Graham, Michigan.
Fletcher Cox, Yazoo City High School.
Haltingata, Oregon.
Michael Bennett, A-Leaf Taylor High School.
Kamu Gurje Hill, Eastern Illinois.
Jordan Hicks, Texas.
Nigel Bradham, the Florida State University.
Ronald Darby, Florida State.
Malcolm Jenkins, The Ohio State University.
Avante Maddox, Pitt.
Rasul Douglas, West Virginia.
A shuffled secondary. Got the rookie Maddox. Darby having a good year. Ball at the 23 for the Cowboys. To Elliott. Had a tremendous rookie season. Had the cloud of a possible suspension hanging over his head all of last season, or at least until he was suspended for 6 games. And so much, Chris, as we know, of the Dallas offense is built around their running game and this guy.
It really is, and a lot of it built around Zach Martin right in front of him. You can almost follow the running game of the Dallas Cowboys. Just take a look where number 70 is in front of them. Those two seem to be going in tandem a lot.
2nd down and 9. Prescott in trouble, can run to the 19-yard line. The Eagles send 4 almost all the time, and of course they don't blitz that much. They don't have to with that front 4.
That's exactly right, and I think we're seeing a much
Zach Martin, ooh, that is big. Jim Schwartz is the defensive coordinator, but Zach Martin writhing in pain right now as Looney takes his helmet off. That's the last thing that Dallas would want to see right now. Here's what happened on the left, and obviously in the tent on the right is the rock of that offensive line, number 70, Zach Martin. Collins rolls up on him. Chris Long was the man in the middle. Now you've got Adam Redmond who's going to come in. He just walked off the field. We'll get a report, obviously, ASAP. But his spot is now taken by Adam Redmond, who was picked up on waivers from Buffalo at the beginning of the season, has played all of 6 snaps this season, number 61. So 2 new guards in tonight, at least for the moment, for the Dallas Cowboys. It's 3rd down and 7 from the 20. And here comes the blitz, and the pass has gotten away to the 10-yard line. Cooper makes the catch, 1st down, one of the rare Philadelphia blitzes. And Prescott gets it away in a hurry. Douglas makes the tackle. It's 1st down, 1st and goal.
Boy, it is going to be a rough night tonight. Inside, you got Joe Looney going against Fletcher Cox, one of the most consistent pass rushers in the league. And so for Dak Prescott, it's going to be like that all night. Take the hit, make the throw.
Prescott pump fake throws, and behind Ezekiel Elliott, an incomplete. 2nd down. Prescott grimaces, 2nd down and goal from the 10.
Yeah, he's grimacing because that might have been a touchdown right there, thrown well behind Ezekiel Elliott. This is where the game, I thought, was really lost on Monday Night Football. They go down the field, they got some turnovers early, then it was an ugly interception by Dak Prescott. They need to be much better now with their injured offensive line when they get their chances here.
It looked like they were going to go up 14-0 last week. Instead, the interception. Tennessee went back down the field, wound up winning the game. Elliott through the middle, over left guard to the 7-yard line. Nigel Bradham makes the stop. Of course, anytime your offense is bogging down, there's a lot of heat on the offensive coordinator. And there he is, Scott Linehan, sending in the plays, and he's got to do it now with 2 guards who are not starters.
Yeah, and great pass rushers on the other side. So now the one matchup that you obviously love is Amari Cooper. And Amari Cooper is going to come out here, and I'm going to be stunned if they leave Rasul Douglas one-on-one against him. I'm going to guess you're going to see Malcolm Jenkins get out there on him.
Prescott looking that way, throws, and the pass is incomplete. Brandon Graham put the heat on. 4th down and goal. Cowboys will settle for a Maher field goal attempt.
Yeah, they had an opportunity. They had one-on-one, so let's give Douglas some credit, and he was up to the task. And of course now Dak understands fully. Look at him, he's just looking in one direction because he knows he's not going to have time to dance around back there.
Brett Maher in his first season as a Dallas Cowboy. 25-yard attempt. Chris Jones to put it down to try to give Dallas the lead, which he barely does, just inside the right upright. So they get the interception by Van Der Esch, pays off with 3, and it's 3-0 Dallas in Philadelphia.
Michelle Tafoya back in Philadelphia, and here is Zach Martin walking back to the Dallas locker room. They looked at his left knee in the medical tent. Now, he's got some history there. He was wearing a brace on that left knee as he came into this game. That's the same knee he hyperextended in the preseason. We'll see if he comes back. They're going to evaluate further, Al.
All right, thank you, Michelle. The kickoff here. is down in the end zone. This look at NFL history is brought to you by USAA. Most touchdown passes over a 20-game span with fewer than 10 interceptions. Aaron Rodgers back in 11 and 12, 58 and 9. Then you've got Tom Brady in 6 and 7, 54 and 8, and Carson Wentz would be the other guy. 48 TDs, 9 interceptions going back to the final game of his rookie season in 2016. Corey Clement in the backfield with him. Drive begins from the 25-yard line. Give it to Clement. Big day in the Super Bowl. So Carson Wentz, you'll recall last year, tremendous season. Some thought he might win the MVP award. Goes to Los Angeles in December. Tears his ACL and LCL. It's about a 9.5-month rehab process. Nick Foles, of course, wins the Super Bowl, starts the first 2 games this season. And now Wentz playing very well over the last 6 weeks. Makes the handoff out to Jordan Matthews. First down. Thrust out at the 40-yard line. No huddle.
That was some throw by Carson Wentz. Immediately under pressure and just sort of did the sidearm throw out there that was perfectly done. You know, his first thing in rehab when he got finished with the surgery, he would sit on his butt in the weight room and make all kinds of different weird angle throws. I bet you that was one of them.
Amazing that doesn't hurt your back. Sitting on your posterior. And meanwhile, he's going to go down here and is looking to hold on to the ball. Randy Gregory comes in for the sack. So Wentz, who's been sacked a lot this season, holding on to it, and lucky he didn't fumble.
This is the Randy Gregory we've gotten used to seeing. Going against Jason Peters, one of the best in the NFL. Look at that move inside. He just came off a procedure on his knee, and he looks lightning quick. When he was coming out of college, of course, we know about some of the issues he's had. But when he was coming out, you thought he was a top 5 player with the way he rushed the passer.
2nd and 19. Backed up to the 31-yard line. A little over 5 minutes to play in the quarter. Rolling away from the heat, and then the pass is caught at the 45-yard line. Nelson Aguilar makes the catch, so they pick up a good chunk there. 14 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 5.
Looks like Randy Gregory's feeling good on the outside, going against Jason Peters around the edge, and he's going to take every edge. Little hands up around the face mask there, but that's going to be a good battle to watch all night. But here we go now, 3rd down. Now where are they going to help? If Randy Gregory can maintain a presence over there, you know DeMarcus Lawrence has to like his matchup against Halapoulivaati Vaitai on the other side.
3rd down killed the Cowboys on Monday night. Tennessee converted 11 of 14. 3rd down here, and the pass is not caught. Incomplete. Good coverage. Crowd wants a flag. Jeffrey, the intended receiver. Awuzie covering on the play, and the Eagles will punt for the 2nd time.
It's really a nice play by Alshon Jeffrey. Just get rebound position right at the sticks. He just didn't catch the football. Going to see the help on the outside against DeMarcus Lawrence. You can expect that pretty much all night long. But that is a nice stand there by the Dallas Cowboys on defense.
That's Beasley back. Cameron Johnston, one-time Aussie rules player. Played his college ball at Ohio State, having a great season. Wobbly kick, fielded at the 12. And Beasley can't get out of his tracks. Flag comes flying in. John Parry in a moment to give us the call. Could be a block in the back on Armstrong on Goddard there.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Return team number 92. Half the distance to the goal. 1st and 10. Timeout.
All right, Dallas with the ball deep in its own territory. 3-0. .4:14 left in the quarter. 3-0. Dallas begins this drive. from its own 8-yard line. Prescott to the outside and is lucky that one wasn't picked off. Hill had it, couldn't hold on, intended for Amari Cooper as Hill jumped it, couldn't handle it.
Dak is staring these things down too much. Watch him. He's going to look out here right away, and Hill is just going to read his eyes. They're in his own defense, and that should have been a pick 6. For Dak Prescott, he's got to be able to look somewhere other than where he's throwing, and he has to get rid of the ball with a little more anticipation than what we've been seeing so far here tonight.
Telegraphed it. 2nd down and 10 from the 8. Little dump off here, and Elliott will take it out to the 12-yard line. Had no blocking in front of him. 3rd down.
Let's take a look at a throw that happened earlier in this game. Dak Prescott, watch how many shuffle steps he takes here before he throws this. If he throws that right now out to Gallup, I think he's going to get the completion. But by the time he sees it and then throws it, it's too late. This time he's over looking that way, but just a little hesitant to pull the trigger. You have to kind of throw it before they're open, knowing they're going to be open.
3rd down and 6. Prescott under pressure is able to complete it, and then Cooper is able to get the 1st down with that 2nd effort. It was Darby who was there. He would have stopped him for a 1st down, but Cooper able to get away and move the sticks.
Fantastic, right? This is fantastic. This is a gutsy catch. You know you're going to take a shot. You know you're trying to impress your new team. You bounce off and you fight for a 1st down to get you off your own goal line. That's fantastic. You go 1st round pick? All right. All right, I'll take that.
Cowboys with 3 1st downs, all from Cooper tonight. 3 catches, 30 yards. Short drop, and then over the middle. That pass is caught by Jeff Swain. They're trying to find a number 1 tight end. I guess Swain would be the closest right now. They've got 4 guys on the roster. We all know about Jason Witten retiring after that spectacular career. So not only were they looking for a number 1 receiver, and now they have one in Cooper, still looking for that tight end.
Yeah, Swain took that role. He was out with a knee last week, and it definitely hurt them. But you're a long way from Jason Witten, who obviously Dak was very comfortable with.
2nd down and 3. Here's Elliott, and he's able to bounce off and pick up the 1st down out to the 30-yard line, where Darby makes the tackle, and we tick down under 2 minutes to go in the opening frame.
Yeah, and so far we're seeing what I kind of thought we'd see from Jason Garrett and Scott Linehan, and that is, what the heck, right? What the heck? Let's go. Let's find out if Dak Prescott has the goods, because basically they're going to be making their decisions on him, on these coaches, based on how Dak Prescott plays. Let's find out.
Absolutely. 4 1st downs for the Cowboys thus far. Fake to Elliott. Prescott able to spin away. Keeps his eyes downfield and then finally just throws it away. Nobody was open. Earns the closest. Cox put the pressure on. 2nd down and 10.
So you're going to see, so this is Cooper on the other side of the field. He scrambled the opposite way, so couldn't get the ball to him. But anytime your quarterback is under siege, which is going to happen in this game a lot, the receivers have to find a way to come back to the quarterback. You don't always turn up the field and make it comfortable on yourself. You have to go back. You need to make the catch. You need to take the hit. Let your quarterback have something easy to throw the football to. Scramble drills are an art in this league, and the Cowboys need to be better at it.
Play clock was all the way down to 2, and the Cowboys now take a timeout. Dak Prescott picked in the 4th round in 2016. Great rookie season. 50 TD passes and 10 rushing TDs in their first 40 games. Otto Graham did it way back when. Dante Culpepper, Cam Newton, Andrew Luck, and Prescott completes that hand.
You know, he's a stand-up guy, Al. He really is. And when we met with him, what did he say? He said, you know what? I'm mad. He used a little more colorful language than that. I'm mad, but I'm mad at myself. When it's self-inflicted, when it's me, when I'm the one making mistakes, I know I can fix that. And so I'm going to go fix it in this ball game. And so he really is taking the burden on himself this game.
He has a great presence. 2nd down and 10. A little flip here to Elliott. Turns the corner. Flag is thrown. Has the first down, but flag down at the 29-yard line.
Looked a little like Noah Brown may have hooked him on the outside, but I'm not positive.
Line judge making the call.
Holding, offense, 10-yard penalty, replay, 2nd down.
No number.
They've been using Noah Brown, number 85, when he's been coming into the game. It's basically been when they've been running the football, so you can get a little bit of a tip on that. And then when they bring Amari Cooper back in there, you kind of know what's happening there. There goes Noah Brown out of the game and Amari back in.
Yeah, Brown just activated off injured reserve. Rod Smith is now in the game in the backfield, probably for protection. And we'll see here, 2nd down and 20. Instead, they send him out. They send everybody out. And it's a short pass up to the 26-yard line. Minimal gain here. Swain makes his 2nd catch. It'll be 3rd down and 15.
But I think for Scott Linehan, he's loving seeing that throw. I always felt like, didn't you feel like Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, those guys controlled the pass rush as much as the offensive line did. So your quarterback can really help when your protection needs help.
No question. 3rd and 15. Look at that. 6 defensive backs all aligned about 15 yards downfield. Meanwhile, you got the pass to Rod Smith, and he almost gets the first down. What a picket line that was. And that's going to take us to the end of the quarter with a 4th down.
Which is going to be interesting.
Very.
Jason has been criticized this year for not going for some 4th downs. We'll see.
3-0, end of 1. Sunday Night Football resumes after these messages. Big rivalry. Cowboys-Eagles. It's 4th and 1. Now, will the Cowboys go for it or just line up to try to draw them offside?
I think they're going.
They are indeed. There's a flag after all that, and now you've got a 5-yard penalty coming up.
Ball start. Offense. Number 71. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Lyle Collins, the right tackle, with a false start. Now the punt group comes in, obviously.
I don't think that was Lyle Collins. I think that was Schultz on the outside. He's going to do a little move. Well, it was Swain.
Swain.
Yeah. Both of them gave a little flinch.
Chris Jones, this will be his 2nd punt. First traveled 46 yards. High spiraling boot that will be down at about the 27-yard line. Ertz having a tremendous season. Had a great year last year as well. 61 catches. Most by a tight end through the first 8 games of the season. So he is on a pace to break the record, which is held by Jason Witten. 31 in September, 30 in October. And the only other guy at tight end with 30 more catches in consecutive months, Witten in 2012 when he caught 110. So Ertz is on pace to put his name into the record book.
Yeah, on pace for 122. That's a big number.
Caught one tonight for 1 yard.
That's a small number.
That's tiny, minuscule. Wide open, Josh Adams. A ton of room to run and a big run for him. Broke away from Xavier Woods. So the undrafted rookie out of Notre Dame, he was the Irish's 5th leading all-time ground gainer. Busts one here for 29.
Here we go. Zach Ertz going to come down and do a little crack back, and just in time. And we have seen this Josh Adams now kind of come out of nowhere and have a really explosive start to the last couple of games. And for the guy who's really not known as a blocker in this league, that's pretty good there by Zach Ertz.
The Dallas 45-yard line. Again to the right side. You look at that running game. I mean, last year they had LeGarrette Blount, the big bull. He went to Detroit. You had Jay Ajayi. They picked him up from Miami in a trade, and he was doing fine. You know, help lead him to the Super Bowl victory. Then he hurt himself in week 5. So now you got Clement, who's been hurt. You got Wendell Smallwood, who leads the league in the team in rushing, and Darren Sproles is right there. He's been hurt since week 1. So a revamped running back attack. Smallwood in the game right now. Wentz throws and completes it at the 29, or does he? Yes, he does. Jeffrey going to the ground with possession. First down.
Well, they are starting to fire some stunts at this offensive line of the Philadelphia Eagles as well. You know the thing the Dallas Cowboys love to do best, and that's all these loops and stunts. They're going to check out and see if Halapoulivaati Vaitai can pick some of these things up. That time pretty good.
Blitz. Pass caught at the 22-yard line by Zach Ertz. Gain of 8. Making it second down and 2.
Yeah, one of the problems with trying to blitz and use a zone defense behind it is those zones get really big. And so they brought a blitz off the outside with Jalen Smith, but too much space to have to cover inside.
Eagles no huddle here. Second and 2, and getting bottled up at the line of scrimmage is Wendell Smallwood. Smallwood was on the bubble at the beginning of the season, but made the team, and fortunate they kept him in light of the injury to Ajayi.
Yeah, he's the one that took the hit last year when they ended up trading for Jay Ajayi. Basically, he went from playing to not playing at all. The only game he got in the last 7, including the playoffs, was the one time Jay Ajayi was inactive, just to give him a rest in week 17.
Third down, long 1. Spread it out with 5 wide. Wentz fires, and that's incomplete. So once again, good coverage. Tate, the intended receiver, Woods covering on the play. Doug Peterson loves to go for it on 4th down. Would be no surprise here.
I would be surprised if he didn't go
right
for it. Pretty nice play there by Xavier Woods. He knew exactly what Tate was going to do on that one and just ran right through the play to make it.
So the Cowboys were going to go for it on 4th down, but they had a false start. Josh Adams is the running back here. 4th down from the 20. Give it to Adams. No, he can't go anywhere. Jalen Smith having a terrific season. So one Notre Damer stops the other, and the Cowboys take over on downs. Dallas leading 3-0 on Sunday Night Football. Dallas taking over on down. Zach Martin is back in the game. Great news for Dallas. And the pass is caught for a 5-yard gain by Amari Cooper. And back we go to the 4th down stop.
Pretty tremendous play and a big emotional play. Jalen Smith's going to come in here and make the play. DeMarcus Lawrence pretty darn good as well. But the Dallas Cowboys defensively have come out here fired up. They felt a little embarrassed. They faded down the stretch in that one a week ago when they really needed to pick up an offense that was struggling. I don't think there'll be any fading in this game here tonight. They are emotional and they are ready.
2nd and 4. Pretty much the season on the line for the Cowboys tonight. Elliott, little hesitation move. 3rd and short upcoming. We go to Michelle.
Well, you mentioned that Zach Martin is back in the game. They took him back to the locker room, checked that left knee, and it was stable, so they've taped it up. He came back out onto the sidelines, gave it a test, and they determined he's good to go. Still wearing that brace on the knee that he came into the game with, Al.
Michelle, big number 70. Boy, when he went down, you wouldn't have thought, but here he is.
Yeah, at about 80%, you take him over most of the guards in the league. He is. If he's not the best guard, he's one of two.
3rd and 2. Play clock at 2. Prescott clapping his hands. Does he get it off in time? Play clock was down to 0. Might be a delay of game. John Parry. Did they call a
Prior
timeout?
to the delay of game, timeout. Dallas.
Just got it in
second.
time. So they've taken 2. Well, you know, the one thing about the Cowboys, Chris, is that you can always count on, and we've done so many of their games through the years, there's always drama.
Always.
There's always something going on.
But you've got your good drama and you've got your bad drama. This would currently be the bad drama because jobs are on the line. I don't think anybody is fooling anybody, right? I mean, Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, everybody in the organization understands you're with the Dallas Cowboys, you win football games. If you don't win football games, you don't have your job. So everybody's on the line. Let's just lay it right out there. And to some extent, Dak Prescott and his contract that he would love to have an extension. And Jerry this week said, yeah, he's going to get it, but it all is still to be played out.
Both teams chasing Washington. Redskins win today in Tampa. They're 6-3. 3rd and 2. Dak rolls and the pass is incomplete. Try to get it to Beasley on the sideline, and it's 4th down, and they'll punt for the 3rd time tonight.
Yeah, and it's just a bad throw. Dak Prescott should have been perfectly on balance, gotten his body moving towards the target. Instead, he faded away from this throw and had to sort of throw 3/4 across his body. That's an easy throw for an NFL quarterback. Have to make that one.
Golden Tate is back to run the kickback, and it's a short snap, and they're going to run the ball up to the 34-yard line, and it should be enough for a first down. Jeff Heath, who was the up back, they're looking at the sticks, and Jeff Heath, who does so much for this team, special teams, great safety. It was 4th down and 2, and the Dallas Cowboys, well, they're gonna pull off everything tonight.
You knew they were going to go for it, and here we go. They've got to pick up what you see in the dark green there, and this is really just Jeff Heath. He put his head down. He did not have it when he put his head down in there, and he just drove for that first down, but I love it. You know, we're down to that time of year, and week after week, we're going to see more and more teams in this situation. Let's go. Let's see it.
Oh, yeah. Makes it a lot more fun. From the 34-yard line. A little sleight of hand there, but he gets it away to Elliott. And Elliott with a great move and a 12-yard gain out to the 46-yard line. Michael Bennett put the pressure on.
Man, oh man, I thought Bennett was going to have a strip sack on this one. Here we go, right around the edge. Watch how close he comes to Dak Prescott. May have been fooled or just saved a little bit there on that kickout block by Jeff Swain, or else that one could have been a disaster. Just missed.
2 fake handoffs, and then a pass for a gain of 13. Prescott is 9 of 15 for 79 yards to this point. Short drop, quick throw, caught on the outside. That's Dalton Schultz, one of their tight ends. Rasul Douglas makes the tackle. That takes the ball just into Philadelphia territory. 2nd and 6.
Let's talk about the secondary of the Eagles just a little bit. They come into this game. They don't have Jalen Mills, their starting cornerback. They don't have Sidney Jones, who is their slot cornerback. They don't have Rodney McLeod, who is their starting safety. So a lot of different moving parts. Rasul Douglas is the guy, the new guy at the cornerback position. They haven't really attacked him straight up yet. They will.
Come up with the fullback Olawale, helping to lead the way for Elliott. He gets to the 48-yard line for a minimal gain. Flag is down. Graham makes the tackle. That was 2nd down and 6.
Noah Brown, in his motion, started going towards the line of scrimmage too soon, and is going to be called for the foul.
Would be the 2nd penalty on him. Parry asking
Illegal
Peterson.
motion. Offense number 85. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
You'll see Noah Brown. He's just going to try. As long as he stays in a straight line, he's fine, but he anticipates the snap count, takes a step forward. That's a good call by the officials.
5 penalties against the Cowboys already tonight, and none against Philadelphia.
The game feels different, though, with Zach Martin in the game. I was beginning to think, how in the world are they going to hold up against Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham and these guys? It feels different when he's in there.
2nd and 11. Pass out here caught by the rookie Gallup. And he's about 2 yards shy of the first down tackle to the 45-yard line by Ronald Darby. Gallup, 3rd-round pick. Played his college football at Colorado State.
Here we go. They're back into these 3rd and 2 kind of situations. But I think Jason Garrett has already proven tonight that he's willing to go for it on 4th down. So wouldn't stun me to see them go run.
3rd and a deuce from the 45.
They're showing pressure to Dak's right side.
He goes to the left side, and the pass is taken in by Beasley. Reaches up 5 feet 8 inches tall, is able to haul it in and convert.
They do bring pressure, which they rarely do, but that means Avonte Maddox, who is their safety ordinarily and their backup safety at that, is going to be forced to cover in the slot one-on-one against one of the better slot receivers in football in Cole Beasley. So they showed pressure, brought pressure, and that was a good read and throw by Prescott.
Cowboys about to run their 28th play. Phillies run only 16 tonight. 6.5 to go in the half. 5-man pressure. The pass too deep, intended for Cooper. Douglas covering. 2nd and 10.
Oh, they're going to be sick. They're making some great plays. They're getting the man coverage. Watch this move on the outside by Amari Cooper. You give up a 1st-round pick, so you get this kind of separation. That's it. That's big in the National Football League. You have to hit that play. You just have to hit it.
Cooper's caught 4 tonight for 36 yards. Prescott's at 7 different receivers. Elliott, big hole, hurdle inside the 20, loses his balance, but he gets inside the 10 for a 1st and goal. Went right over Trace Sullivan like he was Ronaldo Nehemiah.
Well, he was. He was a state champion hurdler. When he was coming up, I was going, is he going to try this? But the defense knows it too. He doesn't go low. He's standing up and still got him jumped over the head of him. I bet you he's dying that he ended up. Look at this. I mean, can you imagine being Trey Sullivan and knowing contact is coming and absolutely nothing but the bottom of his tailbone hit his helmet?
Is Rod Smith on the sideline?
Yeah, eat him up. Yep. There you go.
Gain of 32 for him. 1st and goal from the 8-yard line. Fake to him. Prescott's going to run it and skirts the sideline. They say he's out of bounds at about the 3.5. Chris Long shoves him out. 2nd down and goal.
Yeah, and I think what you're going to see in this game, there's Dak having a little fun out there, but I think what you're going to see in this game, and what we've seen a lot this year, you add Amari Cooper, so the combination and the progression is going to be Amari Cooper, Cole Beasley, or run from Dak Prescott. And that's not a bad combination. I'm not saying that's wrong. As a matter of fact, I think the Cowboys would be better if he did that more.
Comes up 2nd down and goal from the 3. 12th play of the drive and a whistle. Eagles may challenge the spot. And clearly he was out of bounds. Was it as far into Philadelphia territory as the 3-yard line? Or, yep.
Yeah, more like the 4.5 almost, wasn't it?
But if that is the challenge, is it worth it to pick up a yard?
But can you do it without it being pertaining to the 1st down marker, right? I don't think you can.
Well, it was a
so if
goal
you
to
see
go
where
situation.
He goes out of bounds, then you can challenge that.
Let's bring in Terry McCauley. Terry, what are you seeing here?
Sure, he can challenge where he went out of bounds, and they can bring it back to that spot, Al. Again, for about a yard.
Philadelphia's challenged the previous play that the runner stepped out prior to where he was ruled to be stepped out of bounds. We'll review the play.
All right, so the question becomes, is it worth a yard? Could be the longest yard. Back after this.
After reviewing the play, the ball will be placed at the 4.5-yard line. It's a successful challenge, and Philadelphia is not charged with the timeout.
So they win the challenge. It's worth about a yard with 5:25 to go in the half. The ball just outside the 4-yard line. And it's 2nd down and goal. Cowboys up 3-0. Prescott for the quarterback draw, and he gets just past the line of scrimmage where he's stopped by Fletcher Cox. 3rd down and goal.
What a great play right there by Fletcher Cox going against Zach Martin, and he just continues to move and hustle and work and make that play, because that one looked like it was headed for the end zone. Huge play.
Jim Schwartz, defensive coordinator.
Man coverage on the outside if they want it.
Third and goal. Prescott under pressure, sacked at the 15-yard line. That's Michael Bennett. Long time Seattle Seahawk coming to Philadelphia. Big sack.
I have no idea what the Cowboys are doing here. You tell me, Al, what is this route? They both of them just stopped. No wonder they got sacked. What is that?
You got the rookie and a guy who's been in camp for 2 weeks. I don't know.
Dak Prescott's saying, help me, guys.
So now a 31-yard attempt by Brett Maher, who's accounted for the only points in the game to this point.
Barely.
And he just barely made it. And this time, much more true with 3:41 to go in the half. So 2 field goals. Dallas on that drive converted on a 4th and 2 on a fake punt. Leads 6-zip. Returnable kick, Corey Clement from about the 6-yard line. Takes it to the 27. Speaking of guys who played football and served their country, Roger Staubach, U.S. Navy, Cowboys quarterback. Chuck Bednarik was the Eagles linebacker. Tail gunner was Bednarik in World War II.
I told you I gave that speech with Roger Staubach one time, and he had a list of his things in his life, whatever. Number 25 on the list, I won the Heisman Trophy. It's like, what? Number 25?
That's a life well lived.
Yeah.
Start from the 27. Run over the right side by Corey Clement. Second carry for him tonight for 5 yards.
Well, which way you want to put it, Al? This has been a great start by the Dallas Cowboys on defense, or a really sleepy start by the Philadelphia Eagles so far on the offensive side. And what we're seeing is high energy. When the Cowboys don't have to go through long drives, they stay so energetic and so just fly around the field. The key against them is you've got to keep them on the field for a period of time.
I'm saying it's a combo platter.
Yeah.
Fake toss to Adams. And then the pass is caught. Picks up a 1st down. Aguilar able to reel it in. Wentz is now 7 of 10, but for only 64 yards. That's worth 13 there.
Yeah, and this is where you see the advantage really go between these 2 young quarterbacks, in my mind, to Carson Wentz. He is a much better thrower on the run, and that was the beauty.
2.5 until halftime. Wentz fires into traffic, and going down and getting it is Ertz. So for Zach Ertz, catch number 3 for 20 yards and another 1st down. Gain of 11 there.
And Wentz never even glanced that way until he turned to throw. Of course, he did throw an interception doing that earlier, too.
Trying to get a play off before the 2-minute warning, and they do. 5-man rush. Pass is caught at the 45-yard line. Ertz again. Picks up the first down before Brown knocks him out of bounds. The 2-minute warning comes with 1:53 to the half. Dallas 6, Philadelphia nothing. Wentz sets up a backside screen, and the ball comes out, and it's Clement who's able to make a little something out of it. Xavier Woods was able to knock it away momentarily.
I think they're going to call this incomplete.
I agree. Yeah,
I mean, this was the old bang play, right? Never really had control of it.
It's an incomplete pass.
That's the right
Please reset the game clock to 1:49, please. 1:49 remaining.
Never had control.
No. Of course, what do I know what a catch is?
That's why we have Terry McAuley.
That's exactly why.
Second down and 10 from the 38-yard line. Running back is the undrafted rookie Josh Adams. Fake to Adams. Wentz hangs in the pocket, getting open down the sideline, and at the last moment knocked away from Jeffrey by Awuzie. Wide open for a moment, and then Awuzie able to get there in time to save the bacon. Third down.
And the only thing that allowed Awuzie to get there was that Wentz was under just enough pressure. He couldn't step in that direction to make that throw. Floated just a bit, but a huge play by Chidobe Awuzie. Just in the nick of time.
Yeah, they've been picking on him this year.
Yeah, it's because you can't get anything past Byron Jones.
Third down and 10. The 38-yard line. Smallwood in the backfield. He stays in the block to the outside. Juggled. Incomplete. Intended for Ertz. So that's going to make it fourth down and 10. So you're at the 38-yard line. You're looking at a 56-yard Elliott field goal attempt, or going for it.
Let's take one quick look at Carson Wentz in this motion. He really does not even take a step, not facing that direction at all, and can put something on that throw. That's really what's made him so special here. So this is going to be interesting, isn't it?
Have to get to the 28-yard line.
I think this is Zach Ertz time here. Dallas going to take a timeout.
Right. And that will be their final timeout of the half. 6-0 Dallas. Back after this. Eagles send Jake Elliott in to attempt a 56-yard field goal. Watching him in pregame tonight, he made one that would have been good from 66. It's pretty much a winless night, kicking in a northerly direction, and they'll try to make it from 56 to put the Eagles on the board, and Elliott's kick is good. You see on SNF kicks that would have been good from 61. Back in 30 seconds. .56-yard field goal by Elliott. Here's the SNF tracer. Flying the ball. Trajectory just inside the left upright. 42 feet high at its apex. Would have been good from 5 yards farther back. Well, it was Elliott last year. Made that kick, a 61-yarder against the Giants early in the season to propel them. The Dallas Cowboys at the 25-yard line. So no touchdowns in the first half here. 2 field goals for the Cowboys, 1 for Philadelphia.
That was a huge kick. Otherwise, the Cowboys get that ball out around the 46-yard line. That was huge.
Yeah, we thought he was going to go for it, go to commercial, and then he sent out the field goal group. The pass is caught at the 30-yard line, and Amari Cooper's going to take it to the 40. The hustle to the line. Dallas has no timeouts. Jordan Hicks makes the stop. Clock down to 1:20.
I can't tell you what a difference Amari Cooper's making for this offense. He changes how you have to play the Cowboys.
And they really needed somebody like him.
Yeah.
Look out. And again, Prescott's going to go down. You got Brandon Graham and Chris Long in tandem for the sack.
This is a fatal flaw for Dak Prescott. I hate to keep saying this stuff, but he can't take that sack. That was good protection. He was protected for three and a half seconds there, and that's what Scott Linehan has been begging for. Know when you have a chance to fight another down. That was first down. Throw it out of bounds. You got 2nd and 10. We're good. You can't do that.
No, that's a 13-yard sack, and what that does too is it enables Philadelphia to take a timeout. Now they're thinking about getting the ball back. They have 2 timeouts remaining. It's 2nd down and 23 back at the 28-yard line.
You know, Dak's still a very young quarterback. He is still developing. We've seen the high upside as rookie of the year. Rookie of the year.
Yeah.
You know, and so, but there's still polish that's needed.
Second and 23. Here's Elliott. Elliott weaves his way to the 35. It's going to be 3rd down and very long. And the Eagles take another timeout with 58 seconds. Low scoring division. We're talking about a 6-3 game. We'll take a look at that. Points per game. The Eagles would be the team with the most points per game in the division, and they rank 21st. Redskins 25th, Cowboys 26th, and the Giants down at the bottom.
Do you think long term you win championships without these high flying offenses now? I mean, you think about the Saints and the Rams and the Chiefs and the Steelers now with what they're doing, the Patriots over the years.
Not the way the game is constructed right now. No.
We'll get into that some in the second half too.
3rd down and 15. It's great to have a great defense. You gotta score.
Look out.
The screen here. Michael Gallup is going to pick up the first down behind a Tyron Smith block. So on a 3rd down and 15, the Cowboys are now back in business with 51 seconds.
Wow, they got no support whatsoever, and you're going to get linebacker move here, and there's just nobody out here. They're going to come. That is going to kill the Philadelphia Eagles. That's like a giveaway.
Needed 15, got 25.
And you save the clock for the Cowboys.
And Philly thought they'd get the ball back, but they don't. Dallas in control here. Prescott steps up, fires, and that is Beasley, who makes a great catch. Tight coverage at the 20-yard line. A gain of 25. Maddox covering on the play, the rookie.
Well, first of all, the protection was unbelievable. Watch Tyron Smith over here on the left side going against Michael Bennett, and it took every second of this. That was a good 4 seconds there that he held the ball, but watch this throw. This is the reason that they're patient with Dak Prescott. That was a shot and a big moment.
Cowboys trying for that 2-for-1 thing here, because they're going to get the ball to start the second half. Prescott fires to the outside, hauled in short gain. Swain steps out of bounds, stopping the clock. That'll make it 2nd down and 9, gain of 1.
Now, ultimately, what I think this Cowboys offense will eventually evolve to, and there's Jim Schwartz, he talks about it all the time too, is basically kind of a 2-man game. If Amari Cooper on the outside gets man coverage, they're going to throw it to him. If they do anything to help, they're going to hand the ball to Ezekiel Elliott. That'll be the balance of this offense eventually.
3rd time, Cowboys have been inside the 20-yard line. Prescott fires, caught just shy of the goal line by Hearns. He's inbounds, clock keeps rolling. 1st and goal at the 1, clock down under a half minute. Does he sneak it or spike it? He's going to sneak it. and sneaks it into the end zone. What a turn of events here. Philly got the big sack, took the timeouts, the pass to Gallup for 25, the catch by Hearns just outside the goal line, and Prescott sneaks it over for the first touchdown of the game.
There was no mystery what was coming here, and just couldn't stop it. Zach Martin, bad knee or not, just took his guy and drove him right back into the end zone, and there was no question where Dak Prescott was going to go. He was straight lining that one, and that was impressive, and that was a huge defensive mistake on the part of the Eagles on that 3rd down and long.
Maher for the point after. And that makes it a 10-point lead in 19 seconds, and Dallas is going to get the ball to start the second half.
Great drive that time by Dak Prescott. He made 2 really first-class throws.
Dak now has rung up 176 yards through the air. Most rushing TDs in the history of the Cowboys. Roger Staubach with 20. Prescott only in his 3rd season. And Dandy Don with 15 as well.
Dandaroo. And here's the play that really turned this whole thing around. It was 3rd down and very long, and so screen is at the top of everybody's mind, and they end up picking up 25-30 yards. Then watch this shot right here to Hearns. That was a beauty in between coverage to get him down to the 1, and then Dak took care of business from there.
75-yard drive, 8 plays. Took him only 1 minute and 14.
You know, maybe we should have known something watching Tennessee play today. That loss doesn't look quite as bad after the way they beat up the Patriots.
Correctamundo. Return from the 5 for Clement. Clement will bring it back out to about the 31-yard line, and they have 13 seconds.
What a turn of events. It took all of that. It took the Eagles calling the timeouts, which was the right thing to do, absolutely the right thing to do. And they were going to get the ball back with a chance to go score, maybe take the lead. Instead, that one defensive mistake, and Cowboys turned it into a touchdown. Plus the Cowboys, it feels like they've had the ball pretty much this entire half.
Well, they've had it for 19 minutes, 19 seconds to 10:28. Eagles have 1 timeout to get into field goal range. Wentz will try it here, and the pass is incomplete. Over the middle, intended for Nelson Aguilar with 8 seconds.
I tell you, the speed of Jalen Smith shows up on plays like that. That was about a 35-yard sprint. Watch him. He's just turning and going with Nelson Aguilar, a speedy receiver. He knows what's coming, and he just gets in front of it enough.
Great story. I mean, here's a guy missed his whole rookie year. They drafted him. Terrible injury. At the end of his college career, he's had a tremendous season.
Let's go. More chocolate. More chocolate. More chocolate.
More chocolate. Here we go.
Hot chocolate. Set up a screen. Smallwood. He's going to take it to the 50, and that's all. Take us to the half. So a lot of booing. Well, it's Philadelphia. What have you done for me lately? Forget the Lombardi. Dallas gets the second half kickoff. They'll start from the 25, and we start with Michelle.
Well, Jason Garrett told his team last night they needed to handle adversity and success, and he told me at halftime he thought they did that in the first half and will need to continue to do that for the next 30 minutes. He acknowledged Dak missed a few throws but said he made some big ones when it counted. Doug Peterson told me, we're not finishing drives. Not a lot is going to change in terms of the play calling. We just have to execute better. Al?
And they certainly did not in the first half, Michelle, as Dallas takes over. Big turn of events at the end of that first half. The pass to Gallup on a 3rd and 15 for 25 yards. Set up the rest of the drive. Start here. Look out! Slammed into the ground. Michael Bennett with the sack. The play fake, rolling to his right, and Bennett says, no way.
It's like walking into a knockout punch in the first round, just right off the edge here. Never did Michael Bennett even consider going for the running back or anything else. He's been around long enough to smell that one out. That was an unbelievable shot. Welcome to the second half.
The crowd gets back into it. Keep replaying it. Crowd loves it. Up on the big board, 9-yard sack, so it's second down and 19. Play clock at 2. Prescott's going to keep it. And then thrown out of bounds there by Bradham. Short gain. Nigel Bradham with the tackle. And we take a look at Amari Cooper here.
Well, no question about it. Amari Cooper is making a huge difference on this Cowboys team. This was so impressive early on to convert this first down after that shot by Ronald Darby. But it's been the route running that's been even more impressive. That gives them a chance against anybody in one-on-one coverage to make a play. What they can't have are those big negative plays and missed opportunities like that.
3rd and 16. Look at that again. Across the line, they line up 6 wide. And they stop Elliott after a very short gain. Rasul Douglas is there. So a good beginning for the Philly defense here. Quick 3 and out.
It always looks a little strange, doesn't it? But that's where the first down line is. So you can throw it anywhere you want short of that group of 6, and they just assume they're going to be able to come up and make the tackle. Most teams take the screen just like that. It worked once for the Cowboys in the first half, but not that time. Good start.
Jim Schwartz, defensive coordinator. This is Jones sending it down toward Tate, who calls for a fair catch. Runs into his own man.
Right off.
Hit a Cowboy in the helmet, and then it's Tate. It was Lance Lenore who had his helmet hit the ball. So 13-3. Philly has it. Cowboys top-notch defense, and they're mainly homegrown. You take a look at the guys who have started games on defense. You've got 15 of them, 5 along the front, 4 linebackers and 6 backs. And there's only one guy who played for another team, and that would be Antoine Woods. And all he did is play 1 game for Tennessee at the end of the 16 season.
Pretty good homegrown defense, too. I'll tell you, these 2 young linebackers are playing darn well as well.
Philly from the 45-yard line. Wentz in the pocket, deep downfield, and it's incomplete. Crowd wants a flag, and there is none. Byron Jones covering Golden Tate on the play. 2nd and 10.
Veteran receiver here, and Golden Tate. Watch him try and go right through the defensive back. Ordinarily, you get that call quite a bit. He was really trying to make that catch. I think if he had just sort of taken the charge, you know what I mean? Slammed into him, fallen on his back, probably would have gotten the call. Tried for the catch, and it didn't look like as much contact.
Jones at least partially got his head around at the end of the play. 2nd and 10. To the outside. With the convoy there. Picks up 11. Got in behind the All-Pro Jason Peters in his 15th season.
Yeah, it's just really a great play by Jason Peters, and nobody appreciates the little nuances of playing tackle like that one. But watch him sort of pass set, invite the rush to the inside. He's going to come back, invite this rush to the inside, and that's going to free him up to go get the next guy. So it was that added blocker, if you will, because of the fact he was able to lure the pass rusher inside that made that play. Nicely done by Jason Peters.
Clement following the big man for a gain of 11. 9 Pro Bowls for the man who missed most of last season with an injury. Blitz coming. Contacted is Wentz, but he gets it away for an 11-yard gain to Ertz. It's Smith charging in, almost got there in time for the sack.
Man, Jalen Smith was closing hard. Looked like it was going to end up being a big collision at the quarterback. But watch Wentz, he just hangs right in there, all that traffic, and gets that thing off. Going to get his arm grabbed and still got that ball off. I've seen him make some just remarkable throws. I really have. One he made in London was one of the best I've seen all year under pressure.
11-19 tonight for 116 yards. The fake
catch.
Great catch there. To the 11-yard line goes Ertz, extending, reaching for it, hauling it in. Like he had glue on his hands. Gain of 21 to the 11.
The old outside leverage, right? He understands it, goes right into the coverage and then breaks off of it. And that ball was immediately on him. That was a spectacular catch.
Fastball on the outside corner. Clement nowhere. Taken down by Lawrence. Back at the 14-yard line, loss of 3. It's 2nd down and 13.
Marcus Lawrence makes tight ends look really bad. Watch him shoot the gap right through here. Just no way the young rookie Dallas Goedert was going to get there.
Injured Cowboy right now is the defensive tackle Malik Collins. So they work on Collins, and we'll step aside for a moment. Collins was taken off, trotted back to the locker room. Now you've got Tate lined up in the backfield here on a 2nd and 13. And the pass quickly to Ertz, who laterals the ball to Tate. And Tate taken out of bounds at the 8-yard line. Jeff Heath stops him there to make it 3rd down.
Let's go back one play here to Carson Wentz. Watch this. His hand is going to get grabbed. His wristband is going to get grabbed. Somehow he's going to still make an accurate throw for a 1st down. I don't think I have ever seen that combination of things happen on a completed pass before.
Agreed.
And here's where the Eagles have really struggled tonight. And that's on 3rd down. Wentz only 1 completion on 3rd down so far.
And the Cowboys have excelled. 3rd and 7, play clock at 1. They just get it off. Wentz fires over the middle, and it is broken up at the goal line. Broken up by Xavier Woods, intended for Jeffrey, and it's 4th down. In comes the field goal group.
I couldn't tell. Did Jeffrey stop on that route? Here he comes. Watch the end cut. He may have seen this as a zone and settled down just a little bit. And Wentz thought he was going to keep going and lead him in there, and they just misconnected. But once again, Xavier Woods there to make a play.
Hesitated just enough.
So 3rd down one more time, the nemesis of this offense.
26-yard attempt by Elliott is good to make it a 1-possession game again. 9.5 remaining in the 3rd. 13-6 Cowboys. Through the end zone, start at the 25. Coverage from Skycam here. Start with a 14-yard run by Zeke Elliott for a 1st down.
You know, the one thing that I always thought was going to be a problem for this team was the play of their center. But watch the way Joe Looney here gets this reach block. Everybody just assumed when Travis Frederick was not in there that he simply wouldn't be able to do it. There's Zach Martin on the opposite side of him. No problem getting up on the linebacker. And so many times, Al, we talk about it. Sometimes you throw it early to run it late. Here we go. That's a pretty good start.
Looney's done a nice job in place of Frederick this year. Elliott again. Elliott off to the races again inside the 30, and then Jenkins is able to dislodge the ball but out of bounds. So Zeke Elliott, and that puts him over 100 yards tonight, 107 on a gain of 38.
Tyron Smith has had a big night so far. Watch this down block. He's going to come down right here and take care of Fletcher Cox, their #1 guy. And then it was up to Rasul Douglas to close that gap, and he just couldn't get there. But now the Cowboys, after establishing that they could throw the ball early, are starting to establish that run.
Elliott gets a break. Rod Smith is the running back. He handles it. Jalen's brother picks up 2 to the 23, 2nd and 8.
You know, we saw for Dak Prescott in the first half of the game, that every one of his sacks came from holding the ball 2.5 seconds or more. When he was under that threshold, he was 14 for 18, had a great first half, but it's when he tends to hold it and try to make that big play that he gets in trouble. Let's see if he just speeds up the tempo a little bit here in the second half.
They got defensive back Jordan Lewis. That's Lewis, number 27, playing offense here in motion, and takes the pass, or tries to anyway, the pass a little bit low, so that Lewis, who's a cornerback, bring him in on offense. That doesn't work. 3rd and 8.
Yeah, supposedly he was a real skilled player in high school and always impressed, so they've given him a chance now. This is the 2nd game in a row they've used him on some of these jet sweeps and various things. And remember, Tavon Austin, who typically is in that role, is out injured, so that's the reason they've been giving him a chance.
3rd and 8. Elliott back in. Prescott backing up. Barely avoids the sack, loses the ball. It's loose. And then he's able to recover it and throw it out of bounds, throw it away for no gain. Chris Long put the pressure on that time. 4th down.
Well,
what do you say?
Let's take a look at this. Sometimes you just hit it on your knee, hit it with his other hand, but at least he had the presence of mind to go throw it out of bounds. He's out of the pocket and just got rid of it to set up this field goal.
Yeah, saved him a bunch of yardage.
Oh, this is
Darby,
good.
boy. It's their top corner.
And they are getting really thin now. This would be all 3 of their top corners out of the game if he couldn't continue.
Right, Sidney Jones, Jalen Mills, and Darby. Here he is. Let's see what happened.
Darby's been great the last 3 games. Let's take a look here. Scramble, something. And he made that turn. Give him credit. He hung in there. He's going to try and fight through it, at least to make sure he didn't give up a big play.
Injury timeout with 7:43 left in the 3rd. Sidney Jones, Jalen Mills, 2 corners in civvies tonight. Darby was able to at least walk off, and there he is trying to walk it off. And they're going to put him in the medical tent, at least for the moment. Meanwhile, a 42-yard attempt coming up here for Marr to try to extend the lead back to 10. Jones will set it down, and Marr will miss it by a lot. Not even close. Eagles keep it a 1-possession game.
Check the mechanics of everything. Lace is back, but good job spinning it. It's amazing that some of the kickers have just gone up and down this year. Take a look at the tracer. Al called it. It wasn't even close. But Maher came in. Remember, he missed the first kick of his career, made 16 in a row, and then missed his last 2 before this game. In this game, he made one early, but barely, and missed that one badly.
I mean, so many guys have gone into slumps this year. Mason Crosby, had Cody Parkey today with Chicago. Marr misses here, and Philly takes over at the 32-yard line. Give the ball to Smallwood. He'll get wrestled down. That's Vander Esch, Leighton Vander Esch. We met with him in Houston before the Texan game. He went to a small school in Idaho. What was it, 13 kids in the class? They had something, 11 boys and 2 girls. That must have been some kind of a homecoming queen celebration or balloting.
It's an either or, was it?
Right.
And then the hard part's trying to get a date. You got 13 other guys, and
right.
then you got only 2 that you can choose from.
Played 8-on-8 football, went to Boise State, and he was their #1 draft choice last April. 2nd and 7. Wentz fires, and that is caught by Jeffrey. Man, he throws a bullet.
Yeah, and this is what he does best. I mean, he's going to be reading on the outside. Jalen Smith right here. Look at him. If he moves that way at all, throw it right behind him, which is exactly what Carson Wentz does. It's tough. I've talked to a lot of defensive coordinators, and they say, you know, I can make the greatest call in the world, stop a run play, and a quarterback pulls it out of his belly, and all of a sudden we've got nothing that works on the backside.
Wentz. Protection breaks down, and he gets swallowed up a yard behind the line of scrimmage. You got Crawford and Gregory and Lawrence are all there.
Well, let's take a look at some of the component parts of these RPOs. First of all, you're going to have run blocking to that side because the running back's going that way. Pass blocking to the opposite side. Those guys are run blocking on the left. Guys on the right are running routes. They're going to read the middle linebacker. They like it, and a guy like Wentz can throw it from any angle and make it work. There you go, your RPO lesson. We promise we'll never do it again. Al sits over here and rolls his eyes at me every time I do that or the 3 technique.
No, we'll do it again. Don't worry. Second down and 11. Wentz fires a little high and incomplete, intended for Jeffrey. You know, one thing about the RPOs is we thought it might take over the league this year, but it really hasn't.
Well, you know, they've been around for a while, but now you're starting to get some of those college quarterback types that can do some of it. They've been doing it their whole career. As a matter of fact, I think if you ask Dak Prescott, he'd probably tell you that's what he's most comfortable doing right now. We've seen him have real stretches using that kind of stuff to move this offense.
Take a look at that. They were killed last week by Tennessee, 11-14 tonight. They have stopped all 5 third downs. Going to do it again here on 3rd and long. Need 11. Protection is good. The pass is fired. That's caught. And they can't stop him here as Jordan Matthews makes the catch for a big first down.
I'll tell you, Jordan Matthews, he has had some journey, hasn't he? This is a guy that started in Philly, went to Buffalo, went to New England, then came back, had a great game across the pond in London 2 weeks ago, and is picking up right where he left off. That was a huge conversion. Look at the throwing motion. Carson Wentz never has to step towards the target. He's a little like Aaron Rodgers in that way.
Gain of 18, under 5 minutes to play in the quarter now. That's caught over the middle, and that's Matthews again, back to back. Had 4 big receptions in the game in London. That's a gain there of 12.
Well, this is going to be interesting. Watch Kelsey get all the way down the field here. That's pretty far downfield by the time this ball is released. Not sure that's a legal play. Right in the middle. That would be illegal. That would almost be a pick by the center.
Got away with it. From the 26 on first down. Through the middle. Adams. 21. Terry McCauley, how much leeway does a lineman get on a play like that?
If he is clearly more than a yard before the ball leaves the quarterback's hand, then he's an ineligible downfield. If he's blocking, then it would become offensive pass interference. I don't think that's the case here. It is a foul for ineligible downfield.
So Terry would have thrown the flag.
I thought it was a good route.
2nd and 5. Adams is the running back. Wentz keeps it, throws, caught. Can he get the first down? Aguilar very close. They're going to mark it a little bit short. Rougier and Wilson are both there. So another 3rd down, this time 3rd down in inches. And Aguilar is the man who needs a little bit of attention here on the sideline. Check out the spot again here on the reception.
It's where it crosses the line, right? Wherever it crosses the white is where you're going to mark it. So wherever that is right there, the reach doesn't count.
Looks like a good spot to me.
Right there is where they're going to mark it. So really kind of right at the point where he was getting knocked back. Right about there from the other angles we know is where it went out.
Number 61 has reported eligible.
All right.
Number 61 is
Stefan
eligible.
Wisniewski is the eligible receiver here, number 61. There he is. Ball at the 16-yard line, 3rd and inches.
You know, this is in many ways a free play. You could take a shot here and come back on 4th down and still go for it.
Instead, he'll sneak it. Forward progress will net him the 1st down. It'll be 1st down at the 15-yard line with under 3 minutes to play in the quarter.
We're seeing more and more creative style defenses trying to get after these quarterback sneaks. Everybody wants to come in and take a shot at number 11, but he is a big, strong man. Can you imagine, as competitive as Carson Wentz is, having to sit and watch that Super Bowl last year? We were talking to him about it. He goes, everything was hard about my knee. That was the hardest.
Sure. And Nick Foles came in and won the MVP award. 10th play of the drive. All started after the missed field goal. Wentz fires, caught, touchdown, Ertz. Beautifully executed drive, 68 yards, 10 plays in 5.5 minutes, and an extra point away from tying the game.
Yeah, this is the first time I've seen a mistake really out of these young linebackers as they pose for yet another picture.
Yep, and there was a salute to service right there.
Perfect. Jalen Smith right here and Van Der Esch right here. They don't get any separation at all. They've got to get a little width in this zone defense. And those two guys right together left that seam too wide open down the seam for Zach Ertz.
Takes the Eagles about 43 minutes to get into the end zone. The extra point is good off the foot of Elliott. And with 2:08 to go in the 3rd, it's 13-13 at the Link.
There goes Ertz. He sees those two linebackers squished inside, works back up inside the outside guy, and really no chance. And this is what the Eagles did last year. They were so good in the red zone, and they really have not been this year. There's a salute to service.
Beautiful.
Fantastic.
Beautiful. But Chris, we'll talk about the importance of this game. We said it at the top, what it means to both teams. Dallas's season is really on the brink. There's no question about it. And to an extent, as you look at Jeff Lurie, Philadelphia too. I mean, if Philadelphia loses the game, they're 2 back of Washington as we head down the stretch.
With that stretch of games that we talked about against 5 first-place teams,
right.
2 of those against Washington, so still plenty of opportunity there. But they're the world champs. And you didn't really expect to see them struggle like this the way that they have early in this season. But a lot of times, Super Bowl champions, you'll see them take a little while to get going, and then all of a sudden they make a late run.
Well, they always talk about the Super Bowl hangover and the rest. So the crowd now back in full throat as Prescott starts this drive with a pass over the middle. Elliott makes the grab, gets to the 29 for a gain of 4. It'll be 2nd and 6 with less than 2 minutes to play in the 3rd.
That Zach Ertz has turned into some player, hasn't he? He's just so athletic. He's really almost sort of a semi-wide receiver on the outside, and Dallas Goedert, I think, has surprised them all with how well he's blocked, which has taken even more pressure off of him to do that. There's Dallas sitting right next to him. Sort of interesting, Dallas playing for Philly against Dallas.
Yes. 69 catches this season to this point for Ertz. 2nd and 6. Zeke again about 2 yards short of the first. 3rd down and 2. Tackled by Bradham.
Boy, and it all is on the line now for these two teams. The significance of this game, we have to continue to talk about it. And we've seen Jason Garrett go for it in about the same spot. I don't think he would if they threw an incomplete pass. They would at least have to be relatively close.
Agreed. 3rd and 2. High snap. Tosses back to Elliott. He'll turn it upfield. Picks up a 1st down and a lot more to the 47-yard line. Graham runs him down there. Final half minute of the quarter.
Boy, Joe Looney threw a shot pass, almost past Prescott. Nice catch. And then just the speed option on the outside against Chris Long. Big, big, big conversion for the Cowboys. Scott Linehan is emptying the playbook out here tonight.
Elliott averaging 10 yards per carry. Darby is out. They're telling us now out with a knee injury. They're going to let the clock run down to the end of the quarter. And that's the end of 3. 13-13 is your score. Sunday Night Football from Philly back after these messages. On to the fourth quarter. NFC East. No repeat champion since back at the beginning of the century. Since 05, you have had a different NFC East champion every year. 13 in a row, and that parallels back-to-back Super Bowl winners. Last time that happened would have been the Patriots back in 04. They're the standings right now. Washington winning today. Philly 4-4. Dallas 3-5. Al Michaels, Chris Collins with Michelle DeFoya. Fourth quarter. Start with a first down and great protection for Prescott. Shoots it underneath to Elliott. Takes the ball into Eagle territory to the 48-yard line. Gain of 6. Second down and 4.
Boy, I think Dak Prescott's not going to be too happy when he sees this film. They had the deep over going right here to Michael Gallup. Heavy play action, extra tight ends blocking. There's nobody over there. They're going to hit it for a monster play.
Can Prescott now take advantage of the fact Darby is out for the game? They've got Chandon Sullivan, a rookie free agent in there. You got Michael Gallup facing him, bottom of the screen. They give it to Elliott, breaks a tackle. What a night he is having. And he takes it to the 30-yard line, dragging Hicks with him. Broke a tackle from Nada. That's a gain right there of 18 yards, and he has gained 139 yards tonight.
You just have to give credit to Zach Martin tonight. Just coming back out of the tunnel, went in to examine his knee, taking on Michael Bennett, some of the best the Eagles can throw at him. But tonight, Ezekiel Elliott, if he is given an inch of space, has been overwhelming.
He gets a break. Ron Smith is the back. Take to Smith. Protection is excellent. Pass is caught. Beasley takes it inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. Hicks makes the tackle.
There you go. That's what happens when you look off. Dak Prescott on that one looked completely to his right side. And now the Eagles, because of all the injuries in their secondary, are being forced to play zone. So as a quarterback, you move that defense to the right, you look to the right, you come back, he's wide open.
Prescott now 203 yards. Fullback Olawale, tailback Smith. Smith through the middle, keeps those legs churning. Takes the ball inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. Setting up a second down and 4. Philadelphia, an excellent run defense, ranked number 2nd. Of course, not too often do teams run that much against Philadelphia. But tonight, Elliott's having a whale of a night.
Yeah, it's interesting because now they're staying big, where another option would be to go 4 wide because almost the entire secondary of the Eagles is now injured.
Elliott back in on a 2nd and 4. Elliott got a yard and a half shy. Graham makes the tackle. Elliott averaging 10 yards per carry, 14 totes, 141 yards.
Well, we've seen a little something unique almost every time we've gotten to these big situations. Last time they went to the speed option. You love having Dak Prescott on some kind of a run-pass option. And let's see exactly. They're going to play some man coverage on the outside, too. So if he wants to throw one to Amari Cooper one-on-one, he has it.
And Sullivan, the rookie, is on Cooper. Meanwhile, the pass is caught by Elliott for a touchdown. So Zeke Elliott doing the bulk of the work on the ground and now catches one for a touchdown. That's 6 catches for 36 yards for him tonight, and Dallas has the lead again.
Jordan Hicks is going to get picked off by his own guy. He's going to try and follow Elliott across the formation. He's going to run into Brandon Graham, and that was that. Nothing he could do.
Cowboys back on top. Marr in for the extra point. These days everything's an adventure. Bangs that one through. So 11:42 left in the fourth in Philadelphia on this chilly Sunday night. It's the Dak and Zeke show like it was 2 years ago. 20-13. Clement to run it back from the 6-yard line. And Corey gets taken down at the 25. They'll start the drive from there. Well, he was, as he said to us yesterday, and he was flipped off. It's a euphemism.
Yes, he was. But
after last week,
he's also a guy that I don't think has ever really had a bad day. And you asked him about, he said, how'd you sleep that night? He said, horribly. As a matter of fact, he ended up calling people and just had to get some stuff off his chest. He knew that he was the one to blame as much as anybody. Spent a lot of time on the phone with Scott Linehan and just took it all on himself, and he's putting it back on the Eagles tonight.
So that note 34-0 and they have a 7-point lead in the fourth quarter. That's the case right now since 2014. Adams carries for a gain of 6. Chris Richard was in Seattle for many years under Pete Carroll. So he's come in to run basically the secondary, but in effect, he might be like a co-defensive coordinator with the venerable Rod Marinelli. And brings a lot of energy and a lot of juice to the table.
Yeah, I think he is. I think Richard is the signal caller, and his favorite thing is that effort is the one thing we all have complete control over, and you always see effort out of the Dallas Cowboys defense, and that all started with Rod Marinelli.
2nd and 5 on a 4-man rush here, and Wentz fires, and that's caught, collected by Jeffrey. That'll move the sticks. First down, Philadelphia.
Yeah, Alshon Jeffrey, since he came back from that shoulder injury and shoulder surgery, he was out the first 3 weeks. He and Zach Ertz have just taken off. They are 5th and 6th in quarterback ratings since that time. And that's the dynamic duo. Those are the two guys you have to stop with this offense.
Wentz has now thrown for 212 yards and Prescott for 210. On the ground, not finding any room over the left side is Corey Clement.
You know, it's interesting, Golden Tate not playing much here, and I think as they try to speed up the tempo and you have to use a little bit of the at the line communication that he probably hasn't heard a whole lot of, maybe won't be seeing him quite as much down the stretch here, although they're back in the huddle now.
1 catch for him tonight on 3 targets. They'll need him next week to go to New Orleans against the red-hot Saints. 2nd and 10. In the pocket. Wentz going for it all deep downfield, and it's caught on the run. Aguilar got behind Heath and sets up a first down and goal. Great pass, great catch, and that is good for 51 yards.
And Jeff Heath is going to drift down just a bit, and Aguilar hit the Jets. This is what we haven't really seen out of Aguilar this year. Last year he had 2 catches over 50 yards. One of the top guys in deep balls down the field, averaging only 9 yards a catch this year. That was huge.
First and goal from the 8, and to the 1-yard line goes Josh Adams to make it 2nd and goal with 8:40 left in regulation.
Boy, that was something else. Now, that was a great catch. I can't tell you how hard it is to make that catch running full speed, completely extended, and still stay on your feet. That was brilliant by Aguilar.
He scored 4 tonight for 82 yards. Philly trying to tie it up. 2nd down and goal. Quick snap. They give it to Aguilar around the right side. Puts his shoulder down, but is taken down at the 1-yard line. 3rd and goal.
Boy, this Leighton Vander Esch is something special. He is going to be a great draft pick. Watch him get off the block here as he moves this way off the block and still able to sprint his way to make that one. Two young linebackers, they account for most of the tackles on the field all season long, both he and Jalen Smith.
3rd and goal from the 1. Double tight end set here. Which fires over in the middle and makes the catch. Wentz to Ertz for the touchdown. That didn't take long. 74 yards and an extra point away from tying the game.
Another snapshot. Here we go. Quarterback gets to do it all. Then pose for one. Watch, he's just going to use the leverage. The guy guarding him is outside, so he goes into him and then jets hard back inside, just gets that body position, the rebound position, and he's taken over.
Fired in there for the touchdown. The extra point by Elliott is good. We are halfway through the 4th quarter. Turned into a wild one. Bomb to Aguilar, 51 yards. Sets up a 1st and goal. And we're locked. 2020. Tight defensive battle in the first half tonight, but it's erupted. 20-20 is the score. 7:27 remaining in regulation. Elliott kicking off. Lewis is back to receive and lets it bound through the end zone. All right, let's go back to that 51-yard catch by Aguilar and take a look at this.
Yeah, and I'm bringing in Terry McCauley right away. So does this ball ever hit the ground? 1, 2, tap a toe, hit a knee, 3, hit an elbow. Now watch the ball. It's going to get stuck between his knees. We weren't sure if it ever hit the ground. Terry, what say you?
Well, it looks like when he first controls the ball, he's got 1 foot down. So that's 1. Then he takes 2 more before he falls to the ground. So that's a 3rd step. And I do think we have a completed pass. Certainly, even if it wasn't, there's not enough to reverse. As you said, we don't know if the ball ever hit the ground.
And that led to the touchdown, and that is caught by Schultz, the tight end. And that'll be enough for a 1st down on a gain of 17 as Prescott tries to answer.
Well, and that was big, too, because just about the time, big Zach Ertz over there, just about the time you were beginning to think, okay, they're just going to come out and hand the ball to Ezekiel Elliott and try and play power football here, complete a pass. Now you have a defense, don't know exactly what's going on. I still have to think they're going to go after one of these cornerbacks, 39 Chandon Sullivan, at some point.
Prescott fires over the middle, wide open at the 40-yard line is Amari Cooper. He's been quiet for a while. Picked up from the Raiders, that big trade for the 1st-round draft choice, and Cooper makes his 6th catch of the night for 75 yards.
Yeah, watch Ezekiel Elliott. He's going to get 2 before this play is over and really give his quarterback a chance. But again, now for the Philadelphia Eagles, they're having to play some really basic coverages on the back end because everybody's so young. They've got their safety playing slot corner. They've got backups in the game. This is an opportunity to throw it too.
Back to Elliott on the ground. Tremendous night for him. Takes it to the 32 for a short game. With a little over 6 minutes now, it'll be 2nd down and 8 for the Dallas Cowboys.
You feel a little bit for Jim Schwartz, who's over there just trying to make it up at this point. I mean, you get in the game sometimes and you go, oh my gosh, this guy hasn't practiced that position ever in his whole life. Let me stick to cover 3 and something basic. But everybody knows what the beaters are for those kinds of defenses. So if they can't go exotic at all, then it makes it too easy for Dallas.
Rod Smith in it, running back on 2nd and 8. Fake to him. Prescott going for the end zone and incomplete. Intended for Cooper. Sullivan comes over to help out on the play. 3rd down and 8.
just haven't been able to hit that one. So now here you go, 3rd down. You're in field goal range, but I'm not feeling too good about Brett Maher here. I'm playing to win the game, and I think that if Dak Prescott can look off some zone defense here, keep his eyes to one side of the field and come back the other, there have been some gaps in there. I can't imagine they're going to play man, but it looks like it.
Nobody has any idea what field goal range is anymore. Not this year. 3rd down and 8. Prescott fires, caught on the run. Hearns sets up a 1st down and goal. Alan Hearns, picked up from Jacksonville in the offseason, free agent, and it's a 1st down and goal at the 9-yard line.
They did bring pressure, and they did play man coverage, and Hearns did win the battle on the outside. Nice little move on the outside against Rasul Douglas, and a good catch and run. You know, that's what these other receivers are. They are good players, but they needed a headliner. They needed an Amari Cooper to draw some coverage to get them the one-on-ones so they can take advantage.
Both teams moving up and down the field in the 2nd half. 1st and goal from the 9. Play clock at 1. Elliott, big hole to the 2 he goes. Corey Graham stops him there. It'll be 2nd down and goal, and that's 150 ground yards for number 21 tonight.
Now, Michael Bennett, we saw him come up with a sack earlier going up the field. This time they ran back inside him. Let's see if they recognize that. Obviously, Bennett likes to go get that quarterback, but sometimes that little cutback play can be tough.
Four minutes left. Elliott. Prescott looks over. Nope, he's not going to get the signal. He is stopped short of the goal line. 3rd and goal.
That was a mess.
Yeah.
These 2 guys, watch this handoff, Al. Doing a read option, and I think Prescott was trying to pull it out, and he almost got dragged into the end zone along with Ezekiel Elliott. And I don't know when his knee hit the ground, but he reached pretty close to that goal line.
Cam Fleming is eligible here, number 75. Elliott with the fullback. Olawale. Give it to him, and he's able to get into the end zone. Not the cleanest handoff, but he gets it in there anyway, and Dallas has the lead again.
Well, we talked about it early in the game. If you follow Zach Martin long enough, you'll find the football. You take your best blocker ahead of your best runner and go get him. Here we go. Right out here like that. Pick up Graham, and then it was all Zeke Elliott, and this has been fun to watch. It was great watching defense, but this has been an explosion here in the 4th quarter.
2 different games. Extra point by Maher is good. 3:19. Each team, all of its timeouts, a 2-minute warning, set up for a wild finish in Philadelphia on Sunday Night Football. Lincoln Financial Field, South Philadelphia. Rocking and rolling tonight. Dallas up 27-20. Can the Eagles mount another drive? 2 heavyweights slugging it out here in the 2nd half. From the 5-yard line, Corey Clement. Good run back, takes it out to the 31-yard line. Rod Smith. From the 30-yard line, Wendell Smallwood is the running back. Fires, and that is caught. Coverage was good, but Jeffrey is there, turning around, making the catch in front of Byron Jones for a gain of 17.
What a great matchup that is anyway. You've got Byron Jones, who is arguably the best bump corner right now in football, against Alshon Jeffrey, who's arguably the best bump wide receiver, and they are going at it right now, one-on-one, down here at the bottom of the screen.
Philly going no huddle. Plenty of time. You got all the timeouts, the 2-minute warning at 3:10. Fires the outside, caught, and that's a 9-yard gain here for Smallwood, tackled by Heath 2nd and short.
Now we asked Wentz who his favorite back to throw the ball to right now is, and he said Wendell Smallwood.
The 2nd catch of the night. 2nd and 1 at the 44-yard line. On the outside, and that's Tate. He's had a pretty quiet night to the 38-yard line. Hasn't played all that much. Broke away from Anthony Brown for the moment. His 2nd grab of the evening for 19 yards.
Yeah, Anthony Brown joined the club and not being able to tackle Golden Tate.
Made a career out of that. 2:38, counting down from the 38-yard line. Blitz coming, gets it away. Open man is Smallwood. He gets taken down there by Vander Esch.
Yeah, they're starting to fire a few bullets here. Chris Richard brought a slot blitz that time, and they are struggling now because I think that if you're Philadelphia, you know, obviously you've got to score a touchdown, but you also know what's happening on offense on the other side of the ball. So you'd like to milk as much of this clock as you can. So don't be surprised with a run or anything of that mode.
Wentz has now thrown for 300 yards tonight. In the pocket, pressure, gets away for the moment, and then dives to the 30-yard line. Ball is dead at that point. Lawrence almost sacked him. It's a gain of 8, and unless they take a timeout, that's going to take us to the likely to the 2-minute warning, even though they're hurrying to the line here, but the clock will tick down to 2 minutes.
And we'll tell you why that wasn't a fumble, I'm sure, after the 2-minute warning here.
All right, 2-minute warning. Where the strategy's really going to get interesting down the stretch. 27-20. Down the stretch in the NFC East, the Redskins will have the 2nd easiest schedule. Eagles 2nd toughest, including at New Orleans and at the Rams. Cowboys right in the middle. Meanwhile, 3rd down and 2 here. Big 3rd down play coming up here. The blitz is on. The pass is caught on the outside, and a great tackle is made on Clement by Vander Esch. What a play by the rookie. Again, he is something.
Unbelievable play. There was nobody over there, and there was going to be 2 blockers out here on this. That's incredible. This is the play of the game right here. This saves the game for the Dallas Cowboys if they win it. Amazing. That was amazing.
He has 10 tackles tonight. Meanwhile, it's 4th down and 7. He's the guy, of course, in the spotlight now. Sean Lee out for at least a month. 4th and 7. Pass is somehow caught, but short of the 1st down.
Yeah, but look where they're spotting.
Great grab. They're going to spot it short of the first.
There you go.
Short of the first. It's Ertz making the catch, but they're going to turn it over on downs, and now the only thing that the Eagles can do is take their timeouts on defense.
The ball was a little late getting out there. He had to cut underneath the other receiver, and there's where it is. They gave him really the max that I thought that they could have. Official sticks are on the far side, so he catches it over the 1st down marker, but it's not where he came down.
No, Jeff Heath is the guy who makes the tackle.
And you can argue he didn't have control of the ball until almost when he was there at the 30-yard line. Watch the ball bobble a bit here.
Well, last 2 minutes, the play, no challenges. The play is under review. But by the time he gets control of it, clearly he doesn't have the 1st down. Not even close. So Heath, who got burned on the Aguilar 51-yard pass play, makes a great play here. You know, you think back to that Vander Esch, we've been talking about him all night long. You go to the draft, if you're the Dallas Cowboys, what do? They let go of Dez Bryant, so do you need a receiver? They could have gotten Calvin Ridley. Do you need a tight end or a couple of guys out there? Or do you need a linebacker, because you know that Sean Lee is a guy who has trouble staying healthy? They went for Vander Esch, and I think they're pretty happy about it.
Yeah, Sean Lee, a lot more than a little trouble staying healthy, too. 45 of his last 136 games. Control, I would say, didn't happen there, didn't happen there. Right there's where he had control, and that is going to be well short. Terry?
Absolutely, Chris. If he hadn't had that little bobble, I think we'd be looking at a first down, but it's where he gains, first gains complete control, and it was clearly short of the line of
After
game.
viewing the play, the ruling field has been confirmed short of the line of game. First and 10, Dallas.
John Perry makes the announcement. Heath saving it for the moment. So the Eagles now have to take their timeouts on defense. They have all three, and you've got 69 seconds.
And you have to stop Ezekiel Elliott, which they have not been able to do. 18 rushes, 152 yards, a touchdown, 8.4 yards a carry, 117 yards after contact, 6.5 yards per carry after contact. What kind of night has he had?
And 6 catches for 36 yards and a touchdown there. Sinola Walling in the fullback. Toss it to Elliott. And Elliott will get taken down by the neck. After no gain, Graham makes the tackle. Philadelphia takes its first timeout.
Well, let's go back to the play of the night so far. Leighton Vander Esch, it looked like they were going to be in front of this play all the way, and he was the only guy because there was a blitz coming. Everything set up for the Eagles on this play, and they just could not get him blocked. Remarkable. That was a remarkable play. It really was.
Whichever of the girls would have won homecoming queen, he would have had the date.
At least tonight. Well, not Philadelphia.
2nd and 11 from the 28. Toss out here to Beasley, but he'll go nowhere. He was swallowed up by Douglas and Maddox as well, and timeout taken here. 59 seconds.
There he is. Star of the moment right now, but really it's been both these inside linebackers that have been fantastic. Sean Lee has been so great for so long here, but I think there's a new era at linebacker in Dallas.
Jalen Smith right there. The old Golden Domer. 3rd and 15. Prescott's going to keep it, go next to nowhere. He's going to be stopped at the 23. Philadelphia takes its last timeout. So 4th down. Wentz and company will have to navigate a good part of the field in all likelihood. Chris Jones is in there to punt.
I'm sure they'll give it a go here to try and get this block, but it also is going to hold the people chasing the punt returner. So he's going to have some space.
He does. Fielded at the 32. And gets chased down and swarmed over inside the 30-yard line. Rod Smith, Jalen's brother, leading the charge. So you've got 40 seconds to navigate to about 68 yards.
Well, the one thing that the Philadelphia Eagles have always been great doing is running those seam routes, getting these big receivers up the field. They have some monsters. Zach Ertz on the outside, Alshon Jeffrey, Dallas Goedert, somebody where they can go win a jump ball, come up, spike the ball, and then take some shots at the end zone.
4-man rush. Wentz fires over the middle, caught. That'll be a first down for the moment. 45-yard line. Ertz, another catch. What a night he's had. It's 11 for 99 yards. Under a half minute now. Spike it to stop the clock at 27.
Boy, it's so tough when you're running those plays because you're going to have to stretch the field, but your receivers are 40 yards down the field, so it takes them a while to get back so you can just spike the football. They are in Hail Mary range here already. But obviously you'd like to take some legitimate shots at the end zone. And they still have plenty of firepower to do that and plenty of time.
For sure. Sneaking away. Hit as he throws, and the pass is incomplete. That's Lawrence, who was draped on him as he got rid of it. Third down.
Had Alshon Jeffrey wide open, just didn't see him. He's going to come in right into this hole right here, and he just couldn't hold it long enough to keep his eyes over there on that side of the field. I guarantee you that's where he was trying to get it to. Pressure the Cowboys got there.
Could have been about a 15, 17-yard gain.
And catch and run. There was really nobody around him.
Third down, 3rd and 10. The critical number is the clock. Fires to the outside. That'll be caught. That'll be a first down for Ertz. Takes 5 seconds away. Now you got 15 ticks left.
Oh boy, this is tight now. You could try and complete another one, but that is right at the threshold to where you could go up and get it spiked. I think I would rather take a couple of shots at Hail Marys or something close to it, so I got more than one. It will be really fast if they try to go up and spike the ball after this one.
Well, work the boundary, trying to get out of bounds. We'll see what he does here. Looking left, trying to get out of bounds, and he does. Is Ertz, who has now caught a total of 13 balls tonight. 13 for 122 yards, 2 touchdowns. Now you got 11 seconds.
Well, again, and you know, it's just a matter of where they feel comfortable here. But I think that most teams in this situation are going to run 4 verticals up the field and let their quarterback pick the matchup he likes and take a shot into the end zone.
Matthews, Aguilar, Tate, you got Jeffrey in the game. Wentz pressured again, fires over the middle. It's caught, and that's Ertz taking it to the 7-yard line. He laterals the ball to Golden Tate, but he's going to get swarmed, and the clock will expire. So they work the middle, but not deep enough. And that is the way this football game ends. Big smile on the face of Garrett, quite in contrast to what was going on 6 nights ago down in Arlington.
And give credit to the pass rushers of the Cowboys. It really was the pressure during that last drive that forced Wentz to do things he didn't want to do, including that last pass.
They needed to go 68 yards. They got 60. Again, to look at the last play. Fired over the middle. 14th catch of the night for the tight end Ertz. Trying to get it over to Tate, but the Cowboys were equal to the task. And the Dallas Cowboys win a game they had to win.